Hi learners, it's glad to see you in Krishna space. Today is the day 75 of our 300 days DSA journey. So it's time for our today's problem. Let's understand it. So today's problem is string compression. Here we have given an array of characters called chars and we have to compress it using the following algorithm. So begin with an empty string S for each group of consecutive repeating characters in chars. If the group's length is 1, then we have to append the character to S. Otherwise, we have to append the character followed by the group's length. So the compressed string S should not be returned separately, but instead be stored in the input character array called chars. And they have given a note that group length that are 10 or longer will be split into multiple characters in char. After we are done modifying the input array, we are going to return the new length of the array. And they have written that we must write an algorithm that uses only constant extra space. And again they have given a note that the characters in the array beyond the returned length do not matter and should be ignored. So now let's get into the examples and understand it more better. As we can see in the example 1, we have given an array and in the output you can see the answer is 6 because in our new array we will have the first character which is A and then its occurrence which is 2. And then we will have a second character which is B and then its occurrence which is 2. And then C and its occurrence which is 3. So basically when we are going to count the length of our array, we will get the answer 6. Same in example 2 as well, they have given an array and in that array we have only single element which is A and that's why they have written the answer 1. Same in example 3 as well, they have given an array and in the answer they have written 4 because in our new array we will have the character A, then we have the character B and then its occurrence which is 12. So as we know that we have given a rule that if we get 10 or more than 10 occurrences, so we have to write each character. Basically we have to count 1 and 2 separately. So that's why in the answer you can see we have 4. Now let's understand how I approach this problem. So to solve this problem, we can do one thing that we are going to traverse the whole array and then we are going to get the occurrences of each character and then we are going to update our array. So how we are going to do it? Now let's understand it with the help of our code. So as you can see in my code, I have created two variables index and I and currently their value is 0. So here we have created index because we are going to update our new array with the help of index. So basically it will be our indexes where we are going to put our characters and occurrences. And then the second variable which is I is going to help us to traverse through the whole array. Thereafter I have run a loop in which I should be less than length of our array and inside our loop I have created a variable called current in which we are going to put the character which is at index I. Thereafter I have created a variable called C which is basically counting the occurrences of our character. And thereafter I have run a loop to get the occurrences of our character. So as you can see inside the loop I am incrementing I and C both. I is denoting the number of elements that I have covered in my array and count is denoting the number of occurrences of a particular character. And after coming out from this loop, we are going to put our current character at index value and then we are going to increment our index. And if our C is greater than 1, which is basically denoting the occurrences of our character, so we are going to make it as a string and then going to put the character of it into my array at index. And then we are going to increment my index. So basically if we are going to take the example 1, in the first run, we are going to have current as A and then from our second loop, we are going to get C as 2 and then we are going to put our current character which is A at 0th index because index is 0 currently and then we are going to increment it. So after that, we are going to see if C is greater than 1 or not, which we know it is because C is currently 2. So we are going to put the value 2 at my array at first index because my index is currently 1 and now my index will be 2. Thereafter in the second loop my current character will be B and then from the second loop my C will be 2. After that we are going to put B in my array at 2 because currently the value of index is 2. Now my index value will going to increment and it will become 3. Then we are going to check if C is greater than 1, which we know it is. So now at index 3 we are going to put the value 2 and then we are going to increment our index. And in the third run we are going to have our current as C, and then from our second loop we are going to get C as 3, and then we are going to put our C at index 4 and we are going to increment our index. Now my index will be 5, and after that we are going to find out if C is greater than 1, which we know it is because currently C is 3. So we are going to put 3 at index 5 in our array. So now my index will be 6. So now we know my I is same as my length of characters. So we are going to come out from this loop and going to return our index, which is currently 6. So that's how we are getting the result and solving this problem. If you guys have any other solution of it, do write it on comment, and thank you so much for watching this video and staying with me.